What's up, guys? I have another book review video for today. I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I only have two books, but I think I'm going to try to do a little bit more in-depth review of them, more in-depth summary instead of just like a little background about the book. So it will have spoilers. If you don't want either of these books spoiled, I have Animal Farm and Dance Dance Dance. I think they're both worth reading, even with spoilers. But if you're not the type to be into spoilers and still want to watch something, don't watch this video. But I was recommended in the comment of my last one to read Animal Farm. I read it when I was in high school, but I didn't really pay attention to most of the stuff I read in high school, so I read it again. It's a really short read. It's like 100 pages. You can get it done in a couple hours if you just sit down and read it. But it opens up on a farm in England, I'm pretty sure, called Manor Farm, and it opens up with a pig dying, and he kind of gathers around all the other farm animals and gives them a speech about an upcoming revolution that he thinks is going to happen, where animals will kind of take over from human rule and have their own society, basically. So he dies at the very beginning and kind of gives this speech, and then shortly after, the animals on this farm revolt against their farmer, Mr. Jones. They run him off and they start their own society. And from the start, it's pretty good, except already at the start, they kind of have a hierarchy where the pigs, who are smarter and can read and write and stuff, kind of do all the brain work. They say that they are like the researchers, and they do all the planning and stuff like that, so all the other animals have to do all the labor. And so already at the start you see that there's this divide between the classes already, right when they start this revolution. So they come up with these 7 commandments, these rules that their society is going to live by, and I'll just read them out from the book. 1, whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. 2, whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. 3, no animal shall wear clothes. 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed. 5, no animal shall drink alcohol. 6, no animal shall kill any other animal. And 7, all animals are equal. So they start off this society with these 7 rules that will kind of guide how their society is different from the humans' society and how they'll be better. And there's 2 different pig leaders, I guess, 2 different parties. One's Napoleon and one is Snowball. And they kind of have different opinions on how the new farm should be run. Snowball is more of like the egalitarian guy. He wants everything to be different from how it was with the humans, and have the farm animals all get together and all this stuff. And Napoleon is kind of like power greedy from the start. He wants this change of power to benefit him. So he's the one who comes up with all these rules where like the pigs get a higher share of the food and stuff because they have to do all this brain work even though they're not doing any manual labor and stuff like that. And then eventually they fight a battle, one of the neighboring farms, and the farmer that they kicked off, Mr. Jones, comes with guns and stuff and tries to take back over the farm, but the animals fight them off with only a few injuries. I know Snowball gets shot and injured but not killed, and he runs off. So he's gone, and then at that point Napoleon is kind of able to brainwash all the other animals into thinking that Snowball ran off and betrayed them, and all the other animals aren't super smart. Like, the pigs are the ones that can read and write. There's a few other animals that can read, but they kind of don't remember how the society was before, and they kind of just have to take the pig's word for it. And now that Napoleon is kind of the main guy in charge, he gets to tell his story the way that would most benefit him. So it continues with Napoleon as kind of the leader of the animals at this point, and he starts changing the rules, the 7 commandments, because no one else really has any knowledge of what they are. Their memories are so short, and only a few of the other animals can read anyway. So I think the first thing that happens is he moves into the old farmer's house and starts sleeping in his bed. And one of the rules was no animal shall sleep in a bed. But at nighttime, changes the 7th commandment, board, changes it to no one shall sleep in a bed with sheets. And it kind of just progresses like that. Starts drinking alcohol, and then changes it to no animal shall drink alcohol to excess. And all these things to where he can keep bending the rules a little bit more and more to do whatever he wants, basically. And then by the end, Napoleon has pretty much absolute power. He invites the neighboring farmers over and starts walking on 2 feet and establishes trade agreements with them. And it basically ends with the animals looking in the window of the old farmer's house, and they can't tell the difference between the pigs and the humans. And I mean, the thing is pretty much just it's an allegory for revolution, and how all revolutions kind of are inherently doomed to fail because of just humans' power lust and greed and stuff like that. There's always going to be the person struggling for power when they finally get it. Most of the time in history, they abuse that power that they get. And yeah, it's a really good book. It's I think it's very timely right now. It's obviously pretty old. I think it was written, let me see, I think it was written after World War II, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, it was written in 1946. So, yeah, right after World War II. But still very timely for today. I think it talks a lot about two-party systems and how those are kind of doomed to fail, how revolutions are kind of doomed to fail, all these things, how people don't really remember their struggles of the past very well, and if someone tells them that things are getting better and that society is better now than it was, they will just kind of believe that, be ready to believe that. So yeah, I think that was a very good one. You should definitely read it, whether you have or haven't already. You should pick it up again. It's a quick read, and I think it's really, really timely for right now. Alright, the next book that I read was Dance, Dance, Dance by Haruki Murakami. He's one of my favorite authors. I've read quite a few of his books in the last year, and this one definitely one of the good ones. It's kind of a sequel to Wild Sheep Chase. I think they're all kind of more or less in the same universe. They have a lot of similar characters, but I don't know if they're necessarily meant to be in the same time sequence, all of his books. But it starts out with the narrator. I can't remember if they say his name. Some of the books they do and some don't. The narrator wakes up from this dream about the Dolphin Hotel, which is a place that they went to in Wild Sheep Chase, and he kind of feels like he needs to go there. It's this book is very like it's a magical realism, I think it would be classified as. It's like a realistic book, but there's a lot of like dream things that happen, magic things, like weird like spiritual things that happen, which I really, really like. And I think it's kind of unique to Japanese literature that I've never really found. I haven't read any other Japanese authors, but yeah, I've never really read books like Haruki writes. And this doesn't really pertain to this book, but really interesting about this guy is he was living a normal life, owned a jazz bar in Japan with his wife till he was like in his mid to late 30s, I think. And then just one day he's like, yeah, I want to write a novel, and started doing it. He wrote it in Japanese, because that's his native language, but he didn't really like his style. So he wrote in English and then translated it back to Japanese, which gives it a really cool, I don't know if he continued doing that with all his books, but it gave him this style that's really fun to read, really cool writing style. I like it a lot. But anyway, this book starts with him basically quitting his job, going back to this Dolphin Hotel to see why he's supposed to be there, what this like force calling him back is. And he ends up like meeting some people, meeting this 11-year-old girl, and also a receptionist for the hotel who tells him this crazy story about how she went to the 16th floor of the hotel, and instead of it being normal how it always is, it was completely black, and like it was a different world basically, and there was like a creature there that she knew wasn't human but couldn't see what it was. And so he spends some time there until he finally is able to get to this alternate place in the hotel, and he finds out that it's the Sheep Man, who is one of the characters from Wild Sheep Chase. In that book, it like used to be his friend, I think, but his friend like died. But this book, it doesn't really say that. It's just like the Sheep Man, and he's telling the narrator that the Dolphin Hotel is where all the strings of the narrator's life are tied together, and that he needs to basically keep dancing to keep everything in the world connected. So he gets to the hotel and he meets these people. He finds out that the girl that he went to the hotel with before has been missing since like he had last seen her basically, and he doesn't remember her name at first. He's like, but she's the one who came to him in his dream and told him to go back to this hotel. So that's kind of like the whole like driver of this story, is him trying to find this lady that he used to date for like 3 years, but he doesn't remember her name, and it's just really dreamy, I guess. Really like it seems like it's a dream and kind of weird, but he ends up seeing this movie that one of his old high school friends was in, and one of the actresses in the movie is this girl that he's looking for. So he gets in contact with his old friend, and then yeah, it's basically just him trying to track down this girl who's been missing, and he uses Yuki, the girl that he meets at the hotel. She has kind of these magical powers. She can see the future, kind of like she has like episodes where she like sees the future or the past. Like she can just like see things, and they kind of solve this mystery of where this guy's old girlfriend is that he's been searching for. But yeah, he kind of finds out that, yeah, I don't really know how to end that. Yeah, definitely recommend Murakami. Dance 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 is a good one. I don't think it's my favorite, but yeah, he's a really good author. I would recommend this book, but I think his other ones are better. The other ones I've read, Wild Sheep Chase, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. I think that one's probably my favorite, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. That one's quite long, but he just does so much in his books that it's... The long ones, I think, are kind of better, because he has this, like, crazy imagination and creates these... I mean, it's the real world, but it's also, like, this dream world, and has a lot to do with, yeah, what's real and what's imaginary, and it's really good. If you have any recommendations of books like, or authors like Murakami, let me know. It's definitely something unique to Japanese literature that I haven't found somewhere else. So yeah, those were both very good books. Also, let me know if you like this more long form book review. I know I'm not very good at it yet. This was all like off the top of my head. I didn't write anything down or prepare anything. So if you like this, I can put more effort into it next time, or I can just do the ones that I've been doing where I give a shorter synopsis of more books and just what I think about them. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching. Peace out.